If you want to be remembered as someone who gives amazing, epic, mind-blowing blowjobs, then today we are going to talk about how you can crown your king and make him feel like one. We're going to be talking about 5 mindsets that you can do to change your mind frame and energy around giving amazing blowjobs. And we'll talk about 12 techniques that you can incorporate into your blowjob so that it turns out to be the most luscious, the most epic, the most mind-boggling. So that's right, if you want to be remembered as someone who gives amazing blowjobs to your loved ones or to your future loved ones, then let's go into the session. So the first mindset shift that you want to incorporate when you go about offering blowjobs to your loved ones or to your future loved ones, you want to get in a positive, beneficial mindset about why you're doing this. I think it's very common, considering all the unconscious ways that men are going about their sexuality that sort of feels not so great to be on the receiving end. It can be easy to not appreciate men's bodies or to appreciate their cock. I think it can be really important to find ways to really appreciate your lover's cock and to actually feel that somatically in your body, the deep appreciation that you have for this aspect of someone's being, which is a part of them and it is deeply connected to their heart and to their way of thinking throughout the world. And so we have to remember that men are vulnerable and sensitive too. Men are emotional. Men also really have deep feelings about their cocks, and that they really appreciate being appreciated and having their cocks appreciated. So this is a really important thing to remember, because I think it's very easy to forget with all the harm and all the other things that happen in society between relationships and when it comes to penises in general, that penises have feelings too. Gotta think of them as a whole entity or a whole being, a soul that's deep within, embedded within someone's whole entire body and holistic way of responding to life. So when you start thinking and going into blowjobs with that more positive, beneficial framework in mind, where you are appreciating them, it changes the whole entire aura and energy of the practice. And this ties into mind frame shift number 2, is that if you find that you are a person who maybe feels a little bit angry or disgusted with penises and looking at them, smelling them, touching them, but a good way to learn to shift that feeling and that relationship within yourself towards this person's body and this person's cock is that you find ways to respect the penis. Maybe reconsider about how a cock can add power into your life. Really think about that. Think about all the ways in which cocks make you feel great. What sort of symbols of power can a cock represent that can actually benefit you in your relationship to yourself? Number 3, don't treat their cocks like it's a job. Okay. Okay. So number 4, there will be moments where it will be so key and important to practice surrendering into enjoying the sensations that you are feeling in your body and in your mouth while you're giving the blowjob. This might not feel like a mind shift, but I think what happens is a lot of the time when women are offering blowjobs to their lovers, they are thinking outwards about what it is that their partner or their lover wants or likes, and that's a really important thing to remember. At the same time, this will completely shift the depth of presence and intimacy being shared while you are giving the blowjob. If you pull your focus back into your center, and you feel in your mouth and the rest of your body the different places that you're feeling pleasure. Like, oh, that side of my tongue, I'm feeling like bursts of pleasure and sensation and tingling, and oh my God, my vulva is being activated with turn on and passion and aliveness, and oh my goodness, like the blanket's silky on my thigh, and it combines with the texture of the fluid within my mouth against his cock's skin. Wow, this feels so amazing. When you bring your external gaze by thinking about your lover and how your lover is feeling and what your lover wants. Does he like it? Will he like this? Like, is this okay if I do it? Am I going too fast? Am I going too slow? And you bring that focus back in, and you really just get still and calm with allowing the cock to just glide, and you feel the sensations and your experience being amplified by you enjoying what is happening for you in your body. This will translate and transfer such a different energy. And lastly, mind shift number 5 is to treat your lover like he is the most ultimate beloved that you have ever come across. Even if you just met this person on a first date, even if you've been married for 25 years, even if you are newly exploring a relationship with each other, this is so important to not get lost in the casualness and the familiarity of the relationship that you're cultivating, or to get kind of like lost in the projection of lust, of meeting a new person and the passions and the thrills of all that. That can add to your experience. At the same time, sometimes that can make people feel on an energetic level like they are just another human being. And we want the experience when we're offering blowjobs is for whoever we're diving deep with inside their pants, that they feel like they are the only person in the world. They want to feel, no matter who it is, every single guy, and I think even woman, non-binary, whoever, wants to feel like they are special. And I think this is true all the way around. This is true for cocks. This is true for blowjobs. They want to feel like their cock is the last cock that your tongue is going to be dancing around. Even like, if this was the last day on earth, that they are the most ultimate beloved that you've ever experienced, and this is the best experience of your life. This will change the way that the connection feels in the energetic transfer of the experience. So think of it this way, like if you were to go to a massage therapist and they're checking their phones and they're looking at the time and they're not really paying attention, they're just kind of doing their thing and they're like, no, and it comes across as empty or fake. When you tune into treating your hands in your mouth, touching your lover's body like they are the ultimate thing to live for, it will feel so different receiving that for them. And so now we're going to get into the 12 techniques that you can incorporate to add the extra boost, the extra flair, the extra jewel to their crown and make them feel like a king and you are the queen of blowjobs. So, technique number 1, massage your facial muscles before you start. Okay? Get really massaged and loose. I feel so much tension in my jaw all the time. But when your muscles are relaxed, and your mouth is relaxed, your throat feels open. Do this as much as possible on a daily basis just for overall health benefits, but do this especially even if it's just 2 minutes. You go to the bathroom, you massage your mouth before you get started. This will help incredibly to maximize the experience of the blowjob. Technique number 2 is to go super slow. And even go slower than you think you are. Even sometimes throughout some moments of the process, to actually be in stillness while his cock is deep within your mouth. Like really sink deep, 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 deep. Get the cock back at the throat and just relax there in stillness, and just don't even think about moving up and down and creating friction, the high friction, like I'm gonna make him ejaculate kind of thing. You want him to really savor the experience. Like this will also help to slow you down and each other down so that the experience lasts longer. You can make love with someone just by giving them a blowjob, and it can last for like hours doing it this way. If you go super slow, the time will fly. Time becomes liminal. It's like, where does the time go? You go into this portal of this like infinite experience with each other. Technique number 3 is to get really wet. Use lots of saliva. Saliva is one of those natural lubricants that it almost even works better than oil. And it's more closely resembled to how it will feel like in the vagina and the vaginal fluids. So make sure to get extra wet, even sloppy, like dripping waterfall. Like if liquid and saliva is like blah, blah, like just oozing out from the sides of your mouth, getting all of your nose and your face, like that's perfect. Make sure to do that. And technique number 4 is to cover your teeth with your lips in your mouth. So I'm going to demonstrate it. Sometimes what will happen, especially if things go really fast, it will be extra hard to make sure that this technique will work. But try exploring what it feels like to offer a blowjob when you cover your mouth, like your teeth, like this. I know it kind of looks like I'm an old grandmother with no teeth, but when you do this, it softens the edges of your teeth ridges and makes it more softer. Like you have lesser chance of your teeth scraping on the skin, which that doesn't happen inside a vagina. So we want to try to imitate the mouth to be like a vagina as much as possible. So cover your mouth, your teeth with your mouth, okay. And make sure it's extra wet and all that stuff. Technique number 5 is to explore as many areas as possible while you're giving a blowjob. You have hands, you have shoulders, you've got elbows. Like, see what ways you can move your body and explore the neighboring areas, the neighboring erogenous zones while your mouth is doing all the work. This will make him feel like this is a multi-orgasmic experience. Like, there'll be so much sensation happening and so much movement of energy that it will bring his presence and his attention to feel enlightened by having all of his body being activated and not just the genital region. There's an easy way that there can be a hyper focus to the genitals, and especially for men, when they are focusing on goal-orientated and orgasms, they'll tend to focus all their attention on their genitals, and they'll tense and they'll focus really hard. They want to make sure that they stay aroused, and that's going to be a main concern for a lot of men. is that they don't want to come too fast. So they're going to be focused so much. So the more we can help them to relax, to let go of the goals, and to prioritize the experience being the journey, and that there is no end goal, and they can really then learn to feel satisfied and full body orgasmic pleasure while you are exploring different areas, like around the balls in the perineum and around the rosebud of the anus, or like their thighs or their feet, their heart, bringing your hand up to their heart. There's so many different places that you can explore that can add to the experience and enhance pleasure for them. Technique number 6. Technique number 6 is about getting creative with your mouth. So, ways that you can get creative is, instead of just keeping your mouth like, you can try flat tongue. Even if your mouth isn't fully surrounded the cock and you're just licking the outside, try it with a flat tongue. Try it with a pointy tongue. And try different speeds, try different motions, different circles, figure eights. Try exploring just licking the top, try exploring going up and down, try doing all the way around, and see how you can just make it really creative for yourself. Technique number 7 is to make sure to have fun. What's a blowjob if it's not going to be fun? What is honoring this ritual of your king and his beautiful cock if you don't think it's very fun to be around? Make the experience fun for you. Bring some sparkles in, bring some leather whips, bring, some straps, whatever you feel like. Do a little dance, take breaks and try something different. Make it super fun. It doesn't have to be so serious. We can learn to play a little bit in the experience. Technique number 8 is to make a suction motion with your mouth while you're going up. So you don't have to do this every single time you come up, but try inhaling through your mouth while you are coming up from the cock, while you're coming up from the cock. So when you're down, and then you want to be inhaling as if it's like a vacuum is pulling in his cock while you're coming up from the down, if that makes sense. And that's going to create a whole entirely different experience. Our vaginal muscles squeeze and release when we are making love. They just naturally do that whether we are squeezing them consciously or not. So when you do this suction motion with your mouth, it will imitate the motions of what it's like for inside a vagina. Technique number 9. Technique number 9 is to both of you to let go of the goals, to let go of the expectations of each other. I can't emphasize this enough about how important it is for our bodies to feel relaxed in order for pleasure to be able to move throughout our whole body. So when we are tense, it locks in pleasure into a certain area, which doesn't allow it to move. And when it creates tension, we can create contractions, and contractions create orgasm. And that might be nice to experience, but if you're wanting to have an experience where it feels like a consecration of the divine, or that you are anointing your king as a ritual that will change the rest of their lives forever, you want to let go of having orgasm be the goal and just let go and enjoy the journey. I can't express that enough. Technique number 10, and this one is ultra important in my opinion because it doesn't happen enough within our relationships and our sexual dynamics with men. But we want to learn to see the beauty of soft cocks just as much as we do for their hard cocks. there is an enormous amount of pressure on men in society and in the media and our social messages to always be hard all the time. This doesn't give them any room of relaxation or ease within their experience if they feel like they have no rights to their arousal patterns. Men's arousal goes up and down just as much as women's arousals go up and down. So it's important to honor the soft cocks, and they can be fun to play with too. So I wouldn't get down on someone or feel bad about yourself and think that you're not doing a great job or something just because their cocks are starting to soften. This is actually, there can be a lot of pleasurable sensations, and this can actually be really healing for a man receiving if the woman encourages, and you can actually vocalize and say, I love your soft cock. It makes them feel so divine and so seen and welcomed. And who knows what can come from the experience of soft cocks. It can also be really enjoyable. This is, like if you were to make love with someone. Warm sex. Warm sex is when it's not fully erect or hard, but it's just inside of you and you're barely moving, but you're tuning into the subtle sensations within pleasure that you can feel in that moment without going anywhere, without striving towards doing something more. This is what warm sex is about, and appreciating soft cocks and really seeing the beauty in them. It will bring so much for you and for the relationship. Technique number 11. Technique number 11 is to learn what your lover likes. And I know that's pretty simple, but you'd be surprised about how many people just sort of like go on repeat and automatic and just sort of assume that people don't like their butts to be touched, that people assume they like their butts to be touched, that they assume how much pressure they like their balls being grabbed. It's actually more common than you might think that we don't actually know our lovers' bodies as much as we would like to, and not a lot of relationships have the conversation where they're open to talking about it. So learn different cues that the body is doing, hear the different sounds that your lover is making. If that conversation doesn't show up and you want to still learn what your lover likes, you can listen to the feedback. There's always going to be some sort of feedback, whether they're silent, or you can sometimes ask them, what would make this even better? I'm sure that sometimes they'll be able to think of something, or they might just say, oh, you're doing great, babe. Like, this feels amazing. And that's perfect. So learn what they like. That's technique number 11. And last but not least is technique number 12, which is using or incorporating rings to wrap around their cock and their balls, and it creates this sort of gathering of blood. I don't know how else to say it, but it's like it gathers all the blood and it can feel ultra amazing. It can sensitize the cock even more when you incorporate ball rings, cock rings. There we go. Not every partner will be open to this, but if you're wanting to add more to the experience, go to a sex toy shop and grab a cock ring. You might be really amazed, the both of you might be really amazed about how this will feel for your king when you are giving him a blowjob. All right, my beloveds, there you have it. There's 5 mindset shifts that you can incorporate to give the most memorable, the most mind-epic blowing blowjobs. And 12 techniques that you can add to your pleasure practice with each other when you are offering blowjobs. So I hope you enjoyed what was shared in this video with the 5 mindsets that you can shift, as well as the 12 techniques to give amazing, epic, mind-blowing blowjobs. Yeah! Because I want to see you queens rocking your kings to outer space and beyond. So make sure to check out my website below. I'll put a link down for you to check out. And I'd love to hear from you about what you feel has worked for you around giving amazing epic blowjobs. Feel free to share your personal experiences or how these practices and mind shifts have worked for you. I look forward to staying in touch, and we'll hear from you soon.